Hey there, everyone. This is Cloud Keystador, and today we're going to talk about moving workloads to Azure with what I'm going to call maximum smoothness. So, who's Cloud Keystador? Well, that is me. Here I am on LinkedIn. You can feel free to reach out to me there. And here I am on Twitter, enjoying a cocktail in Amsterdam. Feel free to reach out to me there. By the way, the URIs for both my Twitter and my LinkedIn pages will be provided at the end of the presentation. So what brings us here today? What are we going to be talking about? And what do I mean by moving to Azure with maximum smoothness? Well, here's the situation that I've been seeing increasingly in my travels. Your boss has quite suddenly directed you and your team to move everything or critical things to Azure. Ironically, this may be the same boss who earlier told you that nothing was going to move to the public cloud. But here we are. Suddenly, you are tasked with making this happen. So, of course, you're going to try lift and shift. And what I mean by lift and shift is you built VMs on premises with VMware or Hyper-V. You probably thought to yourself, what's the big deal? I'll simply build virtual machines in Azure and install software on them, and away we go. Seems pretty simple. So, for example, and by the way, this example that I'm referencing here is something that I actually witnessed in real life. So, for example, you moved your database servers to virtual machines hosted on Azure. Seemed pretty simple. You're already, as I mentioned earlier, running database servers on virtual machines on premises. What's the big deal in moving them to Azure? Just another virtual platform, right? Well, there were performance issues. Perhaps you didn't invest in ExpressRoute or an Azure VPN gateway or design the virtual network within the cloud effectively. But the worst thing, the thing that really got a lot of people's attention in a negative way, was that the monthly cost was outrageous and perhaps even worse than outrageous, unexpected. And to give you an example of what I mean by outrageous and unexpected, in the scenario, the real life scenario that I was kind of alluding to earlier, an organization found themselves with a bill of tens of thousands of dollars per month for the very beefy virtual machines they created within Azure. They did not expect that cost. They should have, but they didn't. You can imagine the problems and the discussions and the interminable meetings that spawned. So what went wrong? Well, there's a couple of things that are needed, actually three things that you need to increase your odds of succeeding when you are tasked with relocating workloads to the cloud. The first thing is training. I cannot stress this enough. Yes, I know that you're an experienced person. Yes, I know that you think you understand everything that there is to know about this technology, but trust me, you do not. Training is extremely important in order to get a handle on what the differences are between architecting solutions within your data center on premises and architecting solutions, even if they're similar solutions, within the public cloud. Speaking of solutions, the second thing that you need to pay attention to is ensuring that the solutions that you create are well architected. And the third, and this is extremely important in the age of operational expense as opposed to capital expense, you must understand the pricing model of Azure. So for training, I suggest Cloud Academy. I've used them. I'm great admirers of the work that they do. And here we see a page of their Azure training offering. The 70-534 certification preparation course is very good, even if you don't take the exam, and really there's no reason for you not to, but even if you don't take the exam, it's a great way of preparing yourself and give you a great overview of the critical elements of Azure. And to get a handle on architecture, to see examples of architecture, I suggest turning to Microsoft's Azure Solution Center. So here you see that Microsoft provides a really great guide to examples for common solutions that have been generated by them and by others to common problems. And you can browse by what you're trying to accomplish and see how you can build the thing you're trying to do within Azure. Why reinvent the wheel when the wheel has already been built? And for pricing, and this may be the most critical thing, I suggest you consult the Azure Pricing Calculator. This is a very handy tool which gives you the ability to estimate and predict what your costs will be based upon the solutions within Azure that you are employing, whether it's virtual machines or storage, SQL databases, an app service, Cosmos DB, and more. It's not perfect, of course, but it will give you a good handle. So for example, if you were to say to yourself, hey, I want to build 80 virtual machines of the F-type within Azure, you can use the pricing calculator and then say, oh, wait, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I need to turn to an app service, for example. So to recap, 3 things to increase your odds for success: training, architecture, public cloud focused architecture, and understanding pricing. Here's some resources, and I thank you for your time and good luck with your cloud projects.